Let me read you this week's presidential to-do list, best as I can reconstruct it from the headlines. Now, first thing, plenty of time right now. Here's what the president's got time for. He's got time to call the president of FIFA, that's the world soccer body, to get a red card overturned for our star striker at the World Cup. Done. Celebrate on social media. Thank you to FIFA for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice. Done. Have the Justice Department indict a 67-year-old Olympic canoeist on a felony, 10 years, over 2 square foot of pool sealant at the reflecting pool he renovated and painted American flag blue. Done. Ballroom rant. Go on a continuous rant about how great the ballroom is, how great a decorator he is. Done and done frequently. Now, here's what is not on the list. Signing the bipartisan housing bill, the one he called Yawn, not done. A straight answer on the Iran war our troops are still dying in. Not done. The affordability crisis, the small farmers, the groceries, the rent. Not done, not done, not done. Friends, I'm not even mad about the soccer call itself. I'll be honest about that in a minute. And it's more complicated than the headlines. What I want to talk about today is what a man finds time for, because you can learn everything about someone's heart by watching what they drop everything to do and what they let sit. So let's go.
Standing for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Built upon the shoulders of the Constitution, rule of law, and the animating principle that we are all created equal. I need to hear a hallelujah, though I'm not considered a believer by some. I still believe in the warmth of heaven come.
Welcome to the Hillbilly Think Tank with Spencer Keck. I am the educated hillbilly, and no, that's not an oxymoron. Don't call me a moron. There have been educated, erudite, and emancipated hillbillies in them here hills of Kentucky ever since my kith and kin came through the Cumberland Gap with Daniel Boone and the Long Hunters on their quest to find life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness right here in Kentucky. Now, I am Spencer Keck, retired Navy doc, combat veteran, Fleet Marine Force combat veteran, currently a public school teacher, and I'm a candidate for magistrate on the Hardin County Fiscal Court, District 3. And today's show is about priorities. Story number one, the World Cup hosted right here in the US of A this summer, and our boys are actually good. Our top scorer, a striker named Folarin Balogun, picked up a controversial red card in the win over Bosnia, stepped on a defender's ankle, no call in real time, video review, sent it to the monitor, red card. Under FIFA's own rules, Article 66.4 and their World Cup regulations, a circular they sent every team in May, a red card means an automatic one-game suspension. Automatic. Every one of the 12 red cards at this World Cup has meant a suspension. No appeals, FIFA officials told the teams that themselves. Then, per the Associated Press and the New York Times, 3 sources, the President of the United States picked up the phone Wednesday and called Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, and asked him to review it. And on Sunday, FIFA did something it had done exactly once in the entire history of the World Cup. The only precedent is a Brazilian legend named Garrincha back in 1962. They suspended the suspension. 1 year's probation. Balogun plays Monday today against Belgium. Days after the call, you connect the dots. Playing right now. Looked at the score earlier, 1-2. Belgium is furious. Their federation says it's astonished that the ruling flouts FIFA's own written rules, and they're investigating all potential options. Their coach cracked. I didn't know that at the World Cup, the 5th of July is actually the 1st of April. And listen to Gary Neville, the English soccer legend, no bleeding heart, quote, "It absolutely stinks. Because if the rules are the rules for everybody, then 11 other teams ate their red cards. And the host country's president made a phone call and didn't have to." And one more delicious detail, because the universe has a sense of humor. Folarin Balogun was born in Brooklyn, New York. He's an American by birthright citizenship, the very kind of citizenship this president went all the way to the Supreme Court trying to abolish and lost just last week. So the president personally intervened with a global body to deliver justice for a birthright citizen, while arguing in court that kids like him shouldn't be citizens at all. Oh, you can't write it any better than that.
And when I reach that valley, I need to see you there.
Next segment, the honest part, and the line comes early today. Now, let me be honest about the soccer story, because I promised you I always would, and this one's genuinely more complicated than the outrage. Here's the case for what happened. A lot of soccer people, including Neville, including our own Christian Pulisic, think the red card itself was garbage. Zero intent, Pulisic said. Even Belgium's defender of the rule book mostly aren't defending the call. And presidents cheering for the home team at a home World Cup, well, that's as American as it gets. If the outcome is that a bad call got fixed and our best player takes the field, a lot of folks will, shrug and say, good. Here's my answer. And it's the same answer I gave on the housing bill and the war. The process is the whole ballgame. If FIFA thinks its red card rules are too rigid, fine. Build a real review process for every team. And Neville said exactly that. What you don't get to have is a system where the rules are automatic for Bosnia and Belgium and everybody else, and negotiable for the country whose president has a friendly line to the boss. A boss, mind you, who created a brand new FIFA Peace Prize in December and handed the very first one to Donald J. Trump. When the referees whistle answers to a phone call, it isn't a sport anymore. And when the law answers to a phone call, it isn't justice anymore. Which brings me to story number 2, the reflecting pool.
Because we don't need a kingdom, we only need free air. We don't seek a king, we seek the brotherhood of man.
All right. This spring, the administration spent more than $14 million renovating the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool, repainted it a color the president personally named American flag blue. And almost immediately, the pool started having problems. Algae, peeling paint, sealant coming up, baby ducks dying in the algae. Embarrassing. Right before the big 250th birthday bash. The president's explanation? Vandals. He claimed somebody took a knife and cut a 300-foot gash in his new liner. 300-foot gash in the liner. Enter David Hearn, 67 years old, from Bethesda, an Olympian, a whitewater canoeist who represented this country at the games. On January 19th, he was out on a bike ride, stopped at the pool, and by his account, reached in and touched a piece of the blue liner that was already partially detached out of curiosity. He says a Park Service worker told him to stop. He let go, and then he was detained about 5 hours by Park Police and National Guard. National Guard first. He says flat out, I didn't vandalize anything. Now here's the government side, and in fairness, you'll hear it in full. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, yes, of the famous TV show for years. That's where she's been the judge the longest. But now she's a U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, says witnesses saw him forcefully and violently pulling up the liner with both hands, and that he damaged about 2 square feet of sealant, $1,000 worth, she says, and was belligerent about it. A grand jury indicted him. And I want to be crystal clear because this is a pending criminal case, and I don't convict people on podcasts in either direction. I don't know what happened at that pool, and neither do you. His lawyers say he's innocent and call the whole thing a concocted narrative to shift blame for a very botched renovation. A jury will sort it out. That's how it's supposed to work. Now, if you have your doubts, well, here's what I can say. And it's the part that ought to stop you cold. For 2 square feet of pool sealant, a $1,000 worth of damage, allegedly, with his bare hands, this man is facing a felony and up to 10 years in federal prison. 10 years. And Pirro's office says they've got about a half dozen more pool cases cooking. Meanwhile, you heard this show last week. The president of the United States disclosed over $1 billion in crypto income while his administration wrote the crypto rules. And that's legal because presidents are exempt from the conflict of interest laws that govern everyone else. So run the math with me. 2 square feet of sealant, 10 years. $1 billion of self-dealing, 0. That's not a justice system with its priorities straight. That's a justice system pointed down at ordinary citizens and away from power. Now, we've got to look at this, and we've got to look at it seriously. This is really no joking matter. For an Olympian, 67 years old, now facing 10 years of jail time for touching this liner. Now, in my opinion, this is the epitome of ludicrous. So,
reach down into the pool Our evidence further shows that the National Park Service employees observed Hearn actually forcefully and violently pulling up and removing the bottom liner with both hands. According to witnesses, Hearn damaged approximately 2 square feet of sealant from the bottom of the pool. He reached down into the...
Y'all, everyone has seen the videos of this sealant peeling off all over that reflecting pool. But this is a travesty of justice. All right, before I go on and make more comments, I see I got 6 here. I don't want to ignore anybody. Tom, thanks for being on here. All right, it says, despite that one of my stepdaughters went to college on a soccer scholarship, and my wife was a soccer mom, at least nominally when we were first dating, I know little or nothing about soccer. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you there, Tom, although I've now got family members that are playing, so I'm getting into it. All right, but Tom says, but it's clear that the orange one should have no influence over officiating. Yeah, exactly. He should have zero influence over anything else anyway. But here we are. Tom still. Turns out that gash is where the liner failed over the drainage system in the bottom of the pool. Or so reporting has it. Yes, that's correct reporting, but they don't want us to believe that. They want us to believe it was Antifa thugs with a knife swimming in the algae for 300 feet. All right. To quote an old Wendy's commercial, where's the beef? That's exactly it, Tom. All right. Regarding the alleged tearing of the lighter. That's right. Coffee Cats, thank you so much for being on. Coffee Cat says, so we spent all this money and someone supposedly caused a serious damage with their bare hands. What a joke. Absolutely. What a travesty.
Right now, many
and a joke. So
he reached down into the pool.
So there's more than just that. Let's see here if I can pull up the others. All right, well, I'll come back to it, but it's absolutely ludicrous that this man and this lady right here have the power to accuse someone of such a crime on basically nothing. So this is the Olympian.
The Justice Department now charging a former American Olympian for damaging the reflecting pool in Washington. President Trump spent $16 million in taxpayer money to paint and renovate the pool. He blamed...
not 14 million, 16 million. My numbers were way off.
...vandals for the algae and peeling paint. Now that former Olympian has been charged, and tonight he says he did nothing wrong. Here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, the Justice Department bringing felony charges against former American Olympian David Hearn, accusing him of damaging the reflecting pool 2 weeks after he was arrested on the National Mall. President Trump spent $16 million in taxpayer money to refurbish the pool.
All right, y'all. So I have another video showing that it was actually 2 National Guardsmen that first started this arrest. That right there in itself is something we should all be very concerned about. But apparently, we're just going to let that go. Let this, the whole the fact of habeas corpus, anything else, we're going to let it go. But when it comes to allowing an elderly Olympian to be mistreated, we're just going to go ahead and do that. All right. So I've talked enough. Let's get back to what we were doing. So, as I said, some people would just shrug the whole thing off when it comes to the Olympian. But I'm not going to. To me, it's no shrugging matter. And blaming people for your no bid contract that you allowed someone to have $16 million for with no bid, same person that's doing your so-called East Wing work, You allowed that person to have a no bid contract, and they had no clue what they're doing with swimming pools, obviously. And yet you're going to put this guy in jail for 10 years on a felony charge, a felony, because supposedly, yeah, he damaged the pool, 2 square feet of it, of the liner with his bare hands, and the liner was already loose. Yeah. So we are in deep doo-doo. You know, again, let's just run the math one more time. 2 square feet of sealant, 10 years. $1 billion of self-dealing, 0. That's not a justice system with its priority straight. Like I said again, that's a justice system with the barrels aimed right down at us. And let the rich get off for free. So now, again, let's look at what he has time for. This is the thesis. Put the 2 stories side by side and add everything else we've covered and look at the pattern, because the pattern is the point. He had time to call FIFA about a red card. He has not had time to sign the bipartisan housing bill, the biggest housing reform in 30 years, aimed at the number 2 worry in American life, which he called a yawn. He had time to post USA, USA about a soccer game and a soccer ruling, the talks to end the war our troops are dying in. He drops in when the cameras are on. He had his Justice Department move a felony indictment over a pool sealant at speed. And that same Justice Department still hasn't given the American people the transparency it promised on the Jeff Epstein files, which folks across the political spectrum, including his own base, have been demanding for a year. He feasted like a king through the 250th birthday weekend, and the small family farmers of this country, squeezed on every single side, are still waiting for real help. Just talk to farmers here in this county. They'll tell you the diesel prices, they were way too much for them to fill their tractors up this year. And yet, oh, he doesn't care. Talk to them about how much their fertilizer cost, because the Strait of Hormuz has been closed for so long. And that's where much of the components for fertilizer come from. But again, he has no time for that. $1 billion of self-dealing and 0 repercussions. This is where we sit, folks. This is not a system with its priorities straight. This is a system designed only for those at the very top. So, we know what he finds time for. So that tells you where his values are. His values are in entertainment. He started off in entertainment, and he's still in entertainment. Was he a good entertainer? Heck, he couldn't keep afloat the easiest business in the world, a casino. Multiple casinos, bankrupted every single one of them. But, oh man, he has all that time again to call FIFA about red cards. But that housing bill, it's still sitting there. We have priorities in this country, and these priorities are not a priority for our leader. They're a yawn to him. So, I'm asking y'all, those talks to end the war troops are dying in, shouldn't he have had time to drop in more, to get involved more? He has a brand new Air Force One gifted to him on the grift, paid for by the American people. And yet, still the grift is running. The Jeff Epps files still have not been released. And his own base wants them to be released. Small family farmers here in this county that I talk to, that I know well, they're feeling the pinch. And yet he has nothing to say for them. So right now, Hardin County, our row croppers and our cattle folks, we know what the input costs are. We know what the land prices are. We know the squeeze. Now, presidents are busy people. I get it. Every president watches ball games and makes fun calls. I'll never begrudge a man a hobby. But when the pattern is week after week, it is instant, personal, energetic action on the stuff that touches his ego, his image, and his friends' fortunes, and a shrug for the stuff that touches your life, your rent, your groceries, your kid's shot at a house, your neighbor's deployment overseas, then the to-do list isn't a quirk anymore. It's a confession. It tells you exactly who he works for, and it is not you or me. All right, next segment. It's time to bring it home to our county, y'all, because this is what we're here about. All right, so we're bringing it home. The magistrate seat that I'm running for, it doesn't come with a hotline to FIFA, and thank the good Lord for that. But it comes with a to-do list, same as any office. Roads, budgets, ambulance services. These are all the things that you're going to be looking to me to actually care about. Housing, the stuff of ordinary life. And the whole question of public service, the whole question is what goes to the top of that list. I'll tell you my rule, and it's the rule I learned as a Navy corpsman doing triage. The most urgent need goes first, not the flashiest, not the one with cameras, not the buddy's request, the most urgent need. As I travel door to door meeting voters and I attend events like the recent Haycraft Park picnic, and tomorrow I'll be at the county fair, I hear that regular folks, they say the urgent needs for them are the safety of their kids, opportunities for their kids, public transportation, and housing for our homeless population. They also want to know that when they have an emergency need, the ambulance is going to be there in a life-saving amount of time. Now, that's the standard I'd ask you to hold me to, and hold every office holder to, from the courthouse to the White House. Watch what they find time for. Watch whose calls get returned. And when a man shows you his to-do list, believe it, come November, you get to write a new one. And I hope that I am in your writing of the new one. Again, I am Spencer Keck, the educated hillbilly. And this has been the Hillbilly Think Tank. Come to a fiscal court meeting, bring your hardest question, whether I earn your vote or not. Hey, we can sit down there and figure out the answer together. I'll see you there. Keep thinking deeply. And remember, in Kentucky, united we stand, divided we fall. That isn't just words on a flag. It's the glue that holds us together. Because if we love our neighbors as ourselves and recognize that, yes, we are our brother's keeper and our sister's keeper, then y'all, we cannot be divided and we will not fall. Remember, everyone deployed overseas right now because they're in the hot zone. And bless your corazón. That is Spanish for heart. Y'all, this has been paid for right out of my pocket by me, Spencer Keck. You can learn more at spencerkeckmagistrate.com. I'd love you all to come on over there, ask some more questions. You know, talk to me out and about. Like I said, I will be at the county fair tomorrow. Plan to be there the rest of the week, unless it is lightning and thundering like it was today. But I would love to see you there. Love to talk to you, answer any questions you have, and hear what your needs are. All right. Yeah, Copycat says, please may he find more time for McDonald's burgers and large French fries. And yeah, while we're at it, go for KFC, a big bucket of it. Original greasy recipe. All right, y'all. I hope that you are having a good beginning to this week. Hopefully, you didn't get flooded out. I know that we're in a flood watch until 8. I believe they have lifted that now, but want to make sure that everybody is staying safe and that we're all looking out for each other. And again, if you have any questions, go to my website, please. I'd love to hear them there. Come out and see me. I'm out and about a lot now, knocking on doors, walking the streets, meeting folks. And I'd definitely love to meet you and see what you think is the most important right now.
Standing for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Built upon the shoulders of the Constitution, rule of law, and the animating principle that we are all created equal. I need to hear a hallelujah, though I'm not considered a believer by some. I still believe in the warmth of heaven come. I need the rapture I feel when my feet touch the green, green grass of home. Then I know I have reached the valley of kingdom come. And when I reach that valley, I need to see you there. Because we don't need a kingdom, we only need free air. We don't seek a king, we seek the brotherhood of man. And we won't fight for bondage, as we need no king or woman. We will stand undivided, because we will raise the fallen. Now I need to hear a hallelujah as we tear down the wall there. Oh. The divide between heaven and earth, as tears turn to mirth, as we walk through the valley of death, and I draw my last breath. I know rapture I feel when I touch the green, green grass of home. Then I know I've reached the hollow where my ancestors roam.
Hey, y'all, has anybody seen this man? I've been looking for this man. Has anybody seen him? Rumors are that he might not be alive. Might be brain dead. Yeah. But just in case, if anybody's seen him, be awesome to know. Yeah. Idiocracy tops the roll of movies that represent America at 250 years. Yep. In case you didn't know. All right, y'all. So if you've seen Mitch McConnell, please tell him that some of us are looking for him. We'd really like to hear from him, know that he's okay. Right? Because I've definitely been looking for Mitch. He's got some calls he needs to answer from me. You guys probably got some words for him too, and I would like to have him answer them. All right, so here's how much we've spent on this current office. All right, y'all. So that's one thing I want to know. What are our priorities? What? We can't ask anything else. Leave that right there with you.
Of what we're talking about. Now, yes, we're talking about green. We're talking about green. We're talking about money. But with tariffs, take a look here. Okay, the loss to GDP in 2025, Trump's tariffs. Look at this. We're talking about $180 billion. We spoke about it earlier. It's not just about tariffs. It's not just the war in Iran. How about tourism? Total visitors dropped by 4 million in 1 year. From 2024, it was 72.3 million. Now, look at this. Whoop! 68.3 million, 68.3 million. And you know where we've hit the hardest? It's our neighbors to the north. It's our neighbors to the north. Look, Canadian visits. Pull up. I got a nice little calculator. Here we go. Yes. So we got 231 billion, 134 billion, and then 8.4 billion. And what does it come to? Well, let's take a look here. The total cost, $373 billion. $373 billion. That's between the tariffs, the Iran war, and tourism. We are talking about, get this, $2,784 per household. That's what we're talking about, $373 billion.
I have seen the dream of MLK come true. I have seen Martin's dream of justice alive and world when at Thanksgiving my family sits down to break bread together with folks of many different races, ethnicities, religions. My family sees Martin's dream and we only judge people by the content of their character, not by the color of their skin. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have seen the dream of MLK come true. I have trusted my life in the hands of many a black brother, a brown brother, and an immigrant brother in the military, and they have saved my life. Countless times I saw Martin's dream alive, and well, many times my destiny was tied with my brother's destiny. As we served our American dream in combat overseas, we did not care what color of skin our warrior brothers had, what adult sexual partner our warrior brothers had, or what religion they practiced or did not practice. Martin said, it must not lead us to distrust all white people from many of our white brothers. As evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. I have tasted the bittersweet taste of freedom as I held wounded warriors of America, both in battle and when they return home for treatment. I knew then and I know now, freedom is not cheap, but I heard it ring loud and clear. Even after the battle smoke cleared, this made true to me what Martin said. When we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every city and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, great God Almighty, we are free at last. Oh, brothers and sisters, I have seen the dream made us so great. Why would we shut out this dream from our midst now? I was told by another leader that America is the land of opportunity, but we see these opportunities dying with our dreams. Why, America? Why would we let the dream die when we were near the top of the mountain and had the whole world wanting to be us? Brothers and sisters, it is so much better to be loved and respected. That is real power. Now, we want to be the feared bully of our own people and other nations. In the past, I heard fools say, they hate us because they ain't us. Now I say, the rest of the world doesn't want to be us anymore. The rest of the world thinks we have lost our mind and we are the dangerous neighbors that will rob them in their sleep. This is not Martin's dream. Oh, brothers and sisters, I have seen the dream. The dream made us so great. I have seen the dream of MLK come true. I've seen Martin's dream of justice alive and well. When at the dawn's early light, I heard freedom ring. Come all ye children sing, we must hear freedom ring. This is my American dream. Free at last, free at last, great God Almighty, we are free at last.
Beans are shipped across country in refrigerated trucks. And third, they take them and cook than modern bush beans. In the 50s and 60s, convenience became king, and TV did it. Soaking overnight got made But here's what they didn't tell you. Old-fashioned means it actually works. Your great-grandfather didn't grow salad runners because they were trendy. He grew them because when the bank foreclosed on farms across the